Hello, everybody. This is Kuda Biza from Nunbelievable coming right at you today. I'm really excited for a couple of things. Number one is that I'm going to have an amazing guest from the North Texas Food Bank who's going to be joining, and we're going to be talking about the work they do. They are one of our impact partners here at Nunbelievable. And I'm also going to be talking about some of the amazing news that we have as a brand, and also a little bit about 2020. So this is going to be an amazing episode. And today I am joined by Ashley Vadenbush. Did I say your last name right?
Yes, you did. That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Ashley. And Ashley is with the North Texas Food Bank, one of the impact partners for Nunbelievable. And we've been working with them for a few months now. And what's cool about this relationship is that it was a relationship that happened organically. One of our corporate clients, who's based in Dallas, Texas, Scott Tennant, reached out to us and was like, Kuda, there's this food bank that we work with. You guys need to work with them, and really just sold us on your organization, given what you guys are doing in the Texas area. And we reached out, and one thing led to the other, and now we're working together to help fight hunger in the U.S. So with that being said, I just want to give Scott a major shout. So that's Scott, right? Scott and myself right there when we're at Impact, where we were volunteering in Miami, actually. And now he was able to connect us with the guys over at North Texas Food Bank. So with that being said, I want to share a video. And I think it will really set the stage and really help everybody understand what North Texas Food Bank is all about. Definitely Ashley is going to come in and share more, but I think it's important for you to see this first, because it will just make everything that we're going to be talking about so much easier to understand. So take a look at this.
We want to try to help close the hunger gap in North Texas by providing access to nutritious foods. We want our community to be healthy. We want our community to be strong. So the North Texas Food Bank acquires food from many different sources. We get food from government support through many different programs there. We get it from food wholesalers, distributors, people that donate food. We purchase food, and we take all of that food and we bring it into the North Texas Food Bank. And then we distribute that out through many different sources. We have over 200 dedicated partner agencies that 80% of our food goes through on a daily basis. Then the rest of the food goes out directly from the North Texas Food Bank. These could be senior programs or children's programs. And then our third major program that we have is our mobile pantry program. We can take our mobile units out into areas where they may not have access to food.
In a typical year, we see roughly 40,000 volunteers coming through the Perot Family Campus to help us sort and kit different types of food in order to get it out of the food bank and into the partner agencies and into the hands of those that need it. The first step that happens is we receive it and we take a look at it for quality. Is it expired? Is it spoiled? And we separate that out. The next thing that happens is that we'll separate it into like types. So we'll have large bins that are full of just canned green beans. After that, those large bins then that are separated by type go into smaller cartons. The cartons then are palletized, put in the warehouse. Once it's in the warehouse, it's available in an online ordering system to our partner agencies. So once they place their orders, we then will either deliver the food to them that they've ordered, or they can come pick it up from us. And obviously they do that last mile of the distribution to the actual clients for most of the food.
So Crossroads acts as a hub for the North Texas Food Bank. So the food bank sends literally truckloads of food. Then we have our own pantry in which we are standing, and we serve quite a few people through there. There's also North Texas Food Bank agencies that we serve, as well as what we call community distribution partners. And that allows for this equitable distribution and more efficient distribution throughout the community.
So when you think about the future and what's next for the food bank after we've hit the 92 million meal mark, we want to be able to sustain that. We're continuing to build on our operational efficiencies. We're continuing to be very strategic in how we're serving our community as well too, to make sure that anyone has access to the food that they need.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's an amazing video, and it just shows the amount of work that you guys are doing. Do you want to share a little bit more about, North Texas Food Bank and, what you guys are all about, and just add a little bit more flavor to what we just watched?
Sure. So I think the video does a great job of giving that visual of the work we're doing here in the community. So the North Texas Food Bank, we were founded in 1982, so we've been around for a while. And our mission is to close the hunger gap here in North Texas by providing access to nutritious food. Our vision is to see a healthy, hunger-free North Texas. We serve 13 counties, so we cover a very large surface area. We cover a variety of areas, so we're not just metropolitan and city. We also serve suburbs. We serve more rural communities. And so reaching to those different communities is really important to ensure that we can achieve and meet the needs here in our community.
That's amazing. And in the video, I remember seeing that more than 900,000 people, within kind of like the area that you serve, struggle with hunger. So there is a big need within kind of like the 13 counties or so that you guys serve, right?
Correct. So about 1 in 6 North Texans are food insecure, and even more staggering, about 1 in 4 North Texas children live in a food insecure home. So that means that they don't have regular access to the foods that they need. And so especially last year with the pandemic, there was a lot of business closures. A lot of folks maybe lost their jobs or had an increase in medical expenses that they weren't foreseeing, on top of everything else that life can throw at us. And so we saw a huge increase in need. These numbers we haven't seen since the Great Depression. So the need is very great right now. So partners like Nunbelievable really make a difference to ensure that we can continue our expanded operations and continue to meet the needs of our community while the need is still so high.
Yeah, I think the need is great. Given with the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs, and life became really uncertain. And you think about the kids, right? So some kids were getting that really good meal at school, and now with school being closed, it definitely impacted the situation. Can you share more a little bit about your program centered around kids?
Sure. So we do have our Feeding Children programs. We have a variety of different ways that we do that. Our main, I would say, big 3 that we operate are Food for Kids after school backpack programs. So normally when schools were open, that would be on Fridays, and thousands of children across North Texas receive a backpack full of shelf-stable, kid-friendly items to get them through the weekend. With COVID and schools closing, we had to kind of adapt to that program to be able to distribute those bags. And we actually were able to work directly with schools and the school districts to ensure that students were still getting access to those bags, making it easier so that normally teachers help build or guide that program. And with teachers also working remote, you kind of run into some more barriers. So we have really had to adapt our strategy there, but that is a really effective program. Similarly, we have our school pantries where schools that are partnered with us in this effort, anyone that goes to that school and faculty has access to that school pantry. They receive nutritious pounds of produce and shelf-stable items. So they receive quite a bit of food. And again, with schools closing, we had to adapt these models. But we found that working with the schools directly and the school districts and our partner agencies, we've really been able to adapt to make the programs COVID safe. So more of a drive-through model and handing off the food and creating a space that's safe for children to still come and get the food that they need for their families and for themselves. We also serve, and our main program where we distribute most of our food is through our partner agency network, which they talked about in the video. We serve about over 200 partner agencies in North Texas, and that's another great way that we distribute food, not just to children, but to families, to seniors, to adults. And that's where we can really have a great impact in reaching kiddos as well, because they are directly in those zip codes. They know where the needs are. And so working with them to ensure that they have the food that they need to meet the needs of their communities.
Wow, that's super amazing. One question that I had was really, how was your organization really affected by COVID, right? Because, the pandemic, caught all of us like unaware, right? One day it's far, far away, it's happening in Wuhan, China, and then the next day it's in your back door. Governors are shutting down states, and life as we know it changed, and it all happened so fast. And I know as an organization, your heart is to serve, right? Now you already know, like, oh, the people that we serve, there's going to be a greater need, but logistically and operationally, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to actually serve those people. So can you share a little bit about what are some of the changes and what was the impact that the pandemic brought, and how were you able to really navigate during unprecedented times, I guess, right? Like things were uncertain. So just curious to see how you guys were able to handle navigating during the pandemic.
Sure, that's a great question. So like everybody, I don't think anyone could foresee the dramatic events that were going to follow January 1st. No one could anticipate how great of an impact this pandemic was really going to have. I feel like I kept hearing, things are going to go back to normal by May or June. And then May and June came and nothing changed. We were still in the same place. And so as the food bank, not only did we see an increase in need, but we had to adapt to two major changes, which is all of a sudden we don't have our volunteers. In the video, Brad mentions that we see annually about 40,000 volunteers. That almost completely went away overnight, and we completely understood why, right? Companies were adapting where everyone was working from home. People were afraid to go outside. And so a lot of volunteers had canceled. And so we had to kind of shift our volunteer operations to ensure we could still keep going. And we did that in partnership through a Get Shift Done initiative in partnership with ShiftSmart and the Communities Foundation of Texas. A special fund was set up by some very generous donors through that Community Foundation of Texas. And so workers that were displaced due to those business closures could get paid to come volunteer at the food bank, as well as other organizations. We also saw the National Guard come in to help come in and kit these boxes. So we not only had to change our volunteer operations, we were also shifting how we operate in general. We went from more of a client choice model where folks are able to select their items. So it's a lot more bulk sending out pallets to our partners, to now everything is boxed and bagged and kitted for a drive-through low touch distribution model. So that requires a lot more resources on us to get more boxes, all those different things. It takes a little bit more time to kit versus just being able to send out pallets of food. And so we had to really alter everything essentially overnight. And so we would not have been able to do that without our partners, without our community. We've seen an overwhelming generosity from our community to help us make up those extra costs of having to purchase more food, more resources. Our trucks are going out far more frequently. And being able to adapt. And so that's kind of been the key word, I feel like, of 2020 was adaptability and being flexible. One of our core values is collaboration. And so working with the community, with our partner agencies, with government officials, even down to working with like the ShiftSmart workers and our National Guard members that were with us for some time. It took a huge effort in the beginning months, especially to get everything ready to go. Now we're in a position this year to really tackle the need. I heard someone say before when we were trying to figure out our processes and the change, there's not a playbook for this. We're kind of writing the playbook right now. And so we feel like we're ready to take on this year, and we're grateful for the community, and we hope they continue to support us so we can continue to be strong this year and moving forward.
Wow, I love the word you used in the beginning, which was adapting, right? we had to do the same as a business. So Nunbelievable was slightly over a year old. And when the pandemic hit, I think it was like 4 months into the business, right? So we just launched, so think of it, if you're a baby, right? You're a baby and like you're 4 months old, and then this, global pandemic happened. And I remember the day that, the New York state governor was announcing shutdowns and everything. And me and my business partner, Brian Janesco, we were like, what are we going to do, right? Because, we thought like everything was just going to, crumble. So there was one thought of like, hey, why don't we just throttle down our marketing activities and kind of like hunker down? And then when things get back to life, we were thinking it'll be maybe 6 to 8 weeks, we can go back again. But we were like, no, we created this business for times like this, because the people that we serve, who's going to be serving them, right? So we were like, we have to figure out how to adapt. We need to really leverage this direct to consumer model, and we'll figure out a way to make it work. And that's what we did. And we saw the business grow tremendously during those times, and we actually ended up doing more than what we had expected to do in a very challenging year. So, I like that you guys did a similar approach where, like, instead of hunkering down, you figured out a way to adapt and continue to deliver and serve, even though it was very uncertain as to how things were going to go. So we're going to shift things a little bit, Ashley, and I'm just going to do what I like to call rapid fire response. And this week, I'm going to use 2 new cookie flavors. So we have our traditional cookies that you can see like right over there that we have. But this week, we actually launched a new line of shortbread cookies.
Awesome.
So an original. We have a baobab lemon seed. I'm going to talk about this flavor in a bit. And I'm also going to talk about this flavor, which is a baobab flavor as well. So we have the baobab and then the baobab lemon seed, so 2. And then chocolate, because everybody loves chocolate. Now, rapid fire response. So you only have like 2 seconds to think about it.
All right.
Which one would you go with, the original or the chocolate? Pick one.
Honestly, chocolate.
Chocolate?
Sweet tooth. Yeah, chocolate's my favorite.
All right. So what about if we were to do the baobab lemon seed and the regular baobab shortbread?
I'd probably go lemon seed. I do
Lemon
like
seed?
some good lemon as well. Yeah.
All right. Now, lemon seed or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? All right.
It will always have my heart.
Cool. So the cool thing about our shortbread flavors is that they're only, and I want you to read this out when you see it. What is the calorie count there, Ashley?
It looks like about 100. That's pretty low.
It is 100.
Yeah,
so these are 100-calorie cookies, super delicious. And like if you love shortbread, you're gonna love these. So obviously you have the chocolate. Chocolate is really good. The original, obviously, you can never really go wrong with the original. But I'm really excited about these 2 flavors because we're really at the frontier of bringing the baobab, which is a super fruit from Africa, I'm from Zimbabwe. So really excited to be bringing this. And I actually grew up eating baobab when I was in Zimbabwe, and it's a super fruit with a lot of vitamins. It has a citrusy flavor, and it also has a lot of other additional benefits, like a lot of antioxidants. So think about when acai first kind of like came into America, and now everything, it's acai, everything. I think baobab is really going to do that, right? I even went on Amazon and started seeing a few other products starting to sell baobab. So we're super excited about this launch. And for joining me today, Ashley, I'm going to send you a box of all of these flavors for you to try. And again, they're only 100 calories,
Awesome.
which is super amazing. But the cool thing too is that for every cookie we sell, we donate, money for a meal to partner organizations like yourself. So we're really excited about the impact we're able to make while bringing exciting flavors like the baobab shortbread, the lemon toffee and chocolate and original. So once I send you your samples, I want you to then kind of like tell me if chocolate will still be your number one flavor, or maybe
Right.
one of the baobab flavors will kind of like take the win. What do you think about that?
That sounds great. I would love to try that. And I know our team would also probably be down for a nice snack like that. So definitely excited to try that. I'll definitely get their input and see which one's their favorite as well. So that sounds wonderful.
All right, cool. So one of the things that I saw in your video was this whole notion of mobile pantries.
Sure.
Can you shed a little bit more light about what that is exactly and how it's been an effective tool during these pandemic times?
Sure. So the mobile pantry program is something that we've had for some time, but it's really grown in the last year. It's a great tool because it is a mobile pantry. So just like the name would suggest, it's a mobile pantry it's a pantry on wheels. So we can take fresh produce, healthy food items to pretty much anywhere in North Texas that we can find a good parking lot. And we're able to set up shop and distribute those foods. What's great about that program is we are able to go into areas that we would call a food desert. So areas that maybe have very limited access to a grocery store within a certain radius. There may be a partner agency there, or that specific zip code isn't, the needs in that zip code aren't being met. And so we're able to take that mobile pantry truck to that community and be able to fill a need. And so with the pandemic, this has been really critical because we are able to, like I said, be flexible with this model, and we're able to go out to all sorts of different areas. So whether that is in the heart of Dallas or out in a rural community towards Oklahoma, we're able to get out there and meet the needs of those communities. We have distributed millions of pounds of food through that program. Previously, before the pandemic, we were serving about 100 households per distribution on average, to now our average is about 300 to 500 households that we're serving through these distributions. We've seen our mega distributions, which some people may have seen in the news. Those did get some media attention over at Fair Park. Especially our latest one, which is over Thanksgiving, where we were able to serve frozen turkeys alongside the fresh produce and the non-perishable items. So that had a huge turnout. But I think what's difficult to see is those long lines. And we know that those lines will hopefully eventually start to shorten. But now our strategies needs to shift to look at, okay, these lines are long. How do we help shorten these lines? Food is one of those things that is a basic need. If you don't have a full stomach to start your day, or to have lunch, or to go to bed hungry, not only are you not as productive during the day, but it's really hard to focus on anything else. It's hard to get past that basic barrier of, I am so hungry right now. I haven't eaten in a couple of days. I don't have the food I need. So it's hard to, if you're trying to look for a job, it's hard to do that on an empty stomach. If you're a student going to school, it's hard to focus on your homework when you're thinking about, where am I going to get my next meal? And so we really want to go in to these communities and find where the need is most and fill that gap. So that's what's really great about that mobile pantry, is it gives us a lot of that flexibility.
That's amazing. And I think it's all about, going where the need is, right? Because they might not actually be able to come to you, for one reason or the other. So I really like what you guys are doing with that program, and I'm pretty sure you guys are driving a lot of impact with this. And then another thing that caught my attention is that you guys have more than 200 partner agencies, I think.
Yes.
How does that work? And also I understand like you guys are Feeding America affiliate. So how does that all tie in?
Sure. So I'll start with our partner agencies. They are some of the most important partnerships that we have. So partner agencies to us is defined as someone who's a food pantry, a community center, a soup kitchen, a feeding site. And we work directly with them. These are our folks, our partners that are boots in the ground in the zip codes, serving those communities directly. So we have our own direct programming, but the bulk of where our food goes is through that agency network. So our job is to make sure our shelves stay full so we can support their services and make sure that their shelves stay full. And so Crossroads was mentioned in that video. They're one of our partner agencies that serves South Dallas. And they are really awesome at not only serving their community, but there are agencies that are even further away from the food bank that they are able to distribute food to as well, because they have the space and the storage to do so. So we're located in Plano, and we cover a huge surface area. And so for some of our smaller agencies that we work with, it may be really difficult for them to drive up to Plano to pick up their food. It may take longer for us to get there because of the distance. And so working with other agencies like Crossroads and being able to distribute food that way is just another way to be more efficient and effective in getting food out to the people that need it. So those partnerships, like I said, are really, really key to fighting hunger here in North Texas. We could not do it without those partner agencies. Again, one of our core values is collaboration. And so it's the heart of what we do. And we are so grateful for the work that they do. And we're grateful to partner with those agencies.
Beautiful. I think, one of the things we say in Africa is that if you want to go, if you want to go far, like, you need to work with others, right? Mm-hmm. Because, it takes a village, right, to really kind of like raise a child. So one of the things I tend to wonder is the whole notion around awareness. Mm-hmm. Because before I, started really working on Nunbelievable, I was in corporate America, I felt like, I was quite aware about what, challenges, we face here in the US and globally. But when I started really digging into the numbers, more than 40 million Americans struggle with hunger. You were talking about, 1 in every 7 households in North Texas doesn't have enough food right now. Like, it's just so much that I realized I didn't know. So you could, maybe walk me through what steps are you taking to, raise awareness about food insecurity in North Texas?
Sure, that's a great question. So, people can't be a part of the solution if they don't know the problem exists. And so getting the word out and sharing our story, sharing our work, sharing the need with others is a really important piece to solving food insecurity. And so you had touched on that we're part of the Feeding America Network. They're the national organization. We're a part of their food bank network. And so they do a really great job of raising awareness nationwide, working with companies, elected officials, and really doing a great job of making hunger known, that it is in every zip code. It's not just a faraway problem we don't need to think about. It's right here in our backyard. And so here locally in North Texas, we really like to utilize social media. More and more people get their information from social media. And so our communications team has done a great job of educating the community, sharing important content to share our story. They also share our distribution, so folks can easily access information about where they can go to get food if they need it. We have an advocacy team, and so their job is to engage the community to get them out to communicate with their elected officials and to communicate with elected officials about what the needs are in the community and what they can do to help support local food banks and food pantries. So government support is a really key factor here in our work. And so advocacy is something we really, really value. And so it's all about just that communication and putting it out there, inviting folks to come volunteer and seeing what we're doing firsthand, going to a mobile pantry and volunteering, going to our distribution center and just seeing the volume of work that needs to be done. And so raising awareness is just a really key part, just for like any other organization. Again, if you don't know there's a problem, you don't know that you can be a part of the solution. And so we want to invite everyone to come be a part and take part in this journey that we're on to help feed our community.
Yeah, and doing things like this, right, where you come and hang out with me and we get to talk about all the amazing work that you guys are doing and the amazing partnership that we have with you guys. I think it's all part of it. And for all of the Nunbelievable customers and people who follow the brand, it's super important for you guys to know who we partner with, because organizations like North Texas Food Bank enable us to do what we created this business to do. The sole purpose for Nunbelievable to be in existence is for us to be able to provide delicious products while feeding people in need. And we wouldn't be able to fulfill our purpose without hardworking people like Ashley and the team over at North Texas Food Bank, who are working so hard to raise awareness about the hunger issue in North Texas, and obviously with Feeding America, spreading the word about hunger in the U.S. Specifically. But more importantly, in actually making sure that the food comes in and it's distributed to the people that need the food. So super excited to be working with an organization like you guys. And one question that a lot of our customers ask us, right? I get emails forwarded to me from my customer service team telling me like, hey, there are customers who want to volunteer. And obviously with COVID and a lot of the CDC guidelines, is this even possible? So if you could maybe shed a little bit of light of, how can people come and volunteer with you now during COVID times, I think it'll be great. And possibly you and I can maybe figure out how we can maybe drive some of that interest that we're getting from our customers who are kind of like within your radius to actually come and, spend the day with you guys. So how can people come and volunteer with you guys during these pandemic times?
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a lot of great ways folks can engage with us. With the pandemic, we did shut down some volunteer operations, but we actually reopened those towards the end of last year. So folks can come to our distribution center. We've tried to create this most safe environment that we can. Folks have to register ahead of time. We take temperature checks at the door, and then they are socially distanced and everyone is required to wear masks. We're doing a great job of making sure our facility is clean and sanitized. We make sure folks are washing their hands frequently throughout the shift. So for our folks that maybe are more comfortable, that may be a great opportunity to come out and help us. We also have our mobile pantries, which are outside. So again, folks are still required to do temperature checks and wear masks and stay in social distance as possible. With it being outside, that may make some folks more comfortable. So that's a great way to get hands-on with our mission as well. But we also have a lot of virtual opportunities. So one of those is our social media ambassador program, which kind of tying into what we're doing today for folks that are internet savvy. They can be a part of that program. We send out content that we want folks to push out. We give them all the templates and everything that they need. They just have to post it on their socials. We also have our Cards for Hope program, where folks can actually sign up to write cards that will be put into the boxes that we're distributing. So just a note of hope and encouragement to the folks receiving that food. So we've seen some really creative cards. It's been a really cool program, and they can deliver those to the North Texas Food Bank at our distribution center in Plano. And they can also be a part of our advocacy program and being a part of contacting elected officials, sending emails, phone calls, things like that. So we've got a lot of great ways folks can get involved. People can still donate food items to the food bank. They can just deliver that to our distribution center. They can actually also order items through our Amazon wish list, and those get delivered directly to the food banks. They only have to leave their house. And then they can also donate online. Every dollar provides 3 meals. And so that's another great way to have an impact. So there's a lot of ways folks can get involved. They can just go to ntfb.org and go to our Get Involved page, and they can just see the plethora of options that we have. For folks that aren't local, I strongly encourage going to Feeding America and looking for a local food bank. They have a great map where you can just type in your zip code and it will tell you the local food bank in your area and give you the link to their website so you can actually reach out and look for ways that you can help fight hunger in your own community. For folks in North Texas, again, ntfb.org, we have all the information on there of how you can get involved.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I would highly encourage for folks who are watching to actually find what works for you in terms of volunteering. So, the need is great, as you heard. So I think it will be super important for any stakeholder who can to come in and help. So what I'm just doing right now is I'm just putting the website where you can go and help and check out what are some of the options that you could do to really get involved with North Texas Food Bank, because there's so many opportunities. So whatever is speaking to your heart as a way to give, there's so many options out there. You can go volunteer. If you're into social media, you can help there. If you are into writing cards, you can do that. Or if you just want to, get stuff on Amazon and just have it shipped directly to North Texas Food Bank, that's also another option. And also, if you want to give back while you're also having something delicious, you could buy some Nunbelievable cookies again, because we will also make sure that organizations like North Texas Food Bank get to benefit from your purchase as well. So, Ashley, are there any last tips, words, anything that you'd like to leave as a parting message as we close this out?
Sure. I would just love to close on that. Hunger is in every zip code. So you may not see it, but it could be your neighbor. It could be a child sitting next to your child in the classroom. It looks just like you and I. There is no discrimination with hunger, and anyone can experience at any given time. Some of us may be just one paycheck missed away, one medical expense away from all of a sudden needing food assistance. Over 2020, about 40% of the people we were serving were getting assistance for the first time in their lives. They had never needed assistance before. They had donated to the food bank. We've heard stories of people that they volunteered with us and now they're seeking services. And so I just encourage folks to keep in mind their neighbors. And it's not about giving a handout, it's about giving a hand up and helping someone in their time of need. So whether you're supporting NTFB, Feeding America, or one of their partner food banks, just please consider supporting their work and being a part of something really special, honestly bigger than ourselves. And again, hunger is one of those things. Food's a basic need, and we want to be able to fill that need. So we invite anybody, no matter how you want to contribute to our work, to our mission, to come alongside of us, partner with us, and join us on this journey as we continue to serve our community and feed those around us.
Wow, powerful words. It's all about not giving a handout, but a hand up. I mean, that's really the mic drop right there. So thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. I've had a wonderful time learning about your programs, learning about how you guys are really impacting lives in Texas. And I am more than proud. I'm so proud and honored to be one of the partners working with you guys to doing such important work. And also my gratitude to Scott Tennant, who made the introduction, and we're now able to make a lot of impact together with you guys in the Texas area. And I look forward to learning which flavor you're going to enjoy out of the flavors that we spoke about. So I'm going to be sending you the shortbread, the original, the baobab lemon poppy, as well as the chocolate. So you guys are going to have a nice little treat, 100 calories. And for every cookie that we sell, we donate a meal. And we're looking forward to learning what you guys like, but more importantly, selling a ton of those cookies so we can donate a ton of money to Ashley, yes, so that you guys can, change lives and, blow those numbers away. You exceeded, your goal. I think it was 92 million meals donated. What's that next goal that you guys have set?
Sure. So our 10-year strategy was to close the meal gap at the time, which was 92 million meals by 2025. In our last fiscal year, we provided 96.9 million meals. And so our new goal is 105 million meals. So by June 30th, we would like to have provided 105 million meals to North Texas. We are on our way to do that. Numbers are showing that we might hit that goal this year. So any support from you guys, I hope folks buy your cookies. You guys can be a part of that and help us hit that goal.
Sounds great. So thank you so much, guys. and looking forward to seeing where we land. Maybe we can bring you back around July timeframe and we can look and see if we've hit that goal, or if we're close and you need more help, perhaps that could be another way where we could help as well. So thank you so much, Ashley, and enjoy your weekend, and thank you for the amazing work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys having us on. We're really grateful.
All right.